We say good morning. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch at Extreme 104 SVG. Good morning to the entire country, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the rest of the region, US, UK, Canada, Asia, Africa, wherever you are, however you're locked on. And special good morning. Special good morning to the Quarry man, Bigger Bigs. Welcome back to the Wake Up Call. Welcome back to Extreme 104.3. How are you feeling this morning, man?
I feeling great, Crystal, and to the rest of this, I feel colleagues who are here. I'm feeling okay. I'm proud to be here. Trust me, the last time I was here was 19.
2019, that's so far back?
I believe so. So, when I was here, it set up.
We were sitting lower.
Yeah. So
It's true.
Yeah, so the studio for me looking fantastic, my dear.
Okay, a second there. No. That's good. All right. Thank you for that one. Click a little thing there. You know it is with technology. So bigger, we're talking quarry. You're the quarry man. You know all about quarries. You're gonna teach us this morning. For those who don't know, right? What is a quarry?
I made my living from it. The better part of my life, better part of my living, I made from quarry. So then, yes, I like the idea of quarry. I like to hear about quarry, and I like to talk quarry.
Mm-hmm.
A quarry, in cement in our term, that's how we know it is. It's a area where you can go and extract granite. In our operation, we extracted a mixture of sand and boulders. So then, right there, you could see that we have, in cements, we are unique. We do not have to just go to a hillside or a mountain that has granite and extract, and then, you know what I mean? So what we have in cement is a stone quarry. Yeah, so, and then the stone, you can turn it into aggregate.
Okay,
right?
So aggregate is like what you see.
Aggregate is the
in
finished
the road?
product. Is the finished product that from I think that come out of a quarry where you add value. It's adding value to the granite.
Okay.
So to those slabs, those big slabs, you could like take for instance, they have some it's different various sizes. It's all depending on what the crusher is designed to reduce down to aggregate down to dust, because it reduces from that let me say a 3-foot stone or 4-foot stone. Some crusher even take up to 5-foot stone. 5 foot, yeah.
5 feet is like my height.
Yeah, 5 feet, and reduce it down. When you look at that, it's just basically
So like almost
dust.
like a marble.
Well,
marble too big.
Dust.
To dust.
Yeah.
That's fascinating though. How long did you have your business operating for before things went haywire?
I have been when I left school in '86. I went straight into black making, and black making. To do black making, you need to have access to aggregate.
Right.
Whether it come, as I said before, whether it come from one of those granite stock site, you go like what we have, that what we were blessed with. I went to Rabaka, so immediately is where I get material from to start blacks. And as I said, the same aggregate. At the end of the day, when they finish, that's when they end up with aggregate from whether the granite quarry or the sand pit.
So you would have provided for your block making. You would have also provided for persons locally. Would you have also exported?
When I started out, Crystal and the rest of the staff, I didn't start out crushing. For the first maybe 10 years of our operation, we would have went to, and this is one of the things I like about Rabaka. Rabaka, you could go up there and you could get from the largest, let's say 5 feet stone, 6 feet stone, 8 feet stone. It's different sizes. So what you could have done, you could have gone up there. You could have gone up there and still get material to do your blocks. You could just take out the coarse one and leave it there. So it was a lot of things. did a lot of different things. For me, it's a very unique material where person who are now getting in could get into block making instead of have to invest in that heavy, make that heavy investment of owning a crusher and so forth at the same time. You know what I mean? It
Okay,
it,
okay.
it give you yeah, it give you time to it give you time to really
All right,
yeah
that's good. That's
yeah yeah it give you time to develop and I don't know. I had a knock. I have a knock for these things, Christelle.
for business.
When I did, I realized that you're chucking down all this material. Some people chuck down, and when you bring it down, you get a sifter with you make with your hand. Sometimes that's how it started off. It's a simple sifter. We sift out and take out the you use the material that you want for your black maker, and the rest basically give it away, discard it. And I said, no, something has to be wrong here. And let me just drop this in, and I believe that is one of the reasons why our banana industry didn't thrive well, because when we were doing bananas, we export those that are of the top quality, but those that couldn't make it to be exported, just leave it in the field and rot. We should have add value to those that were remaining. Trust me, that would
Like
have
some flour or something.
exactly, we should have add value to that, and that is what I did. I add value to those material that wasn't usable, and then is how the really quarrying, crushing of stone started out for us because Christelle, when we moved to Yambu, matter of fact, I started in Sears, where I live in right now, the same very spot my house and where I live in right now. There's where I begin to accumulate the we call oversized material. And then I used to use that now, like when people because I used to construct roads, and so when people give me road to construct, I use that as my base material. And then you see, but when I went to Yambu, where I had a lot of space now, I started to actually build a stone quarry, because what I did, all the oversized material I brought down, I accumulated it. That when I crush it out, it yield for us over $700,000 worth of material. Yep. I know you like that. Yep.
Wow.
It
You must hope now if you hear big money.
Oh.
it yield for us over $700,000 of material. Some went back into the black making, because those size when I crush those bigger stones now, when I reduce it, you're gonna get usable material again out of that now for black making, because what the crusher does, the crusher reduce, and they give you the crusher that we had give us 4 different grades at one time. It give us a sand grade, a 5. It depends on what side you want. You want a 5/8 grade, a 3/8 grade, half inch, 1 inch, anything at all you want. You can put in your screen in your crusher and get whatever size stone that you require.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
So the big question now, is there a lot of money in quarrying?
I will say that quarry is the beginning of making money for any construction firm who are in it. If it doesn't have, just imagine you want to make blocks, Christelle. You're going to make it with sand. You have to have aggregate. You have aggregate to do it. So aggregate is the beginning and the end of construction. Simple and straight as that. And for me, it's long as it is properly done and it's well run, is a license to print money.
Okay, well done, properly done. Let's go to Richmond right now. When you first heard about a St. Lucian company getting a 30-year contract to mine at Richmond, what went through your head?
Well, when I heard it, from the time I heard Quarry mentioned, my ear stick up like those for dogs, like ready to hear. You know what I mean? I ready to hear what's going on, and then I didn't have enough information until a day. I think it's a Sunday. I was listening to worship. There's a program that I not me dub, but another reader announcer dub it. Worship Ralph program that aired on a Sunday. So I was there listening when Julian calling to the program. I think Bentley, who is one of Simmons, so well trained environmentalists in terms of, because he is one of those persons someone can go to if they want to get an environmental impact assessment done. For me, naturally, Dr. Murray for me is the one that I used for all years when I doing my
Right.
things, yeah.
And he would have done the environmental assessment
Yes,
that was used.
that's for me. Yes, Dr. Murray would have done that one for me at Rabak and do many others. I think he's the one that did the one in Richmond.
Right,
But-
right. That was a part
for
of that
different-
particular, for different.
for different site.
Right,
not
but
that site.
it wasn't it used for that particular site?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't built designed for this particular site that they are going to quarry on.
No,
Right?
it wasn't, and
It
it
was-
was done years ago.
Years ago, but it was not done for this particular
Okay.
project. Now, when I heard about it, I started to look for information because I want to know. And is after he already spoke this Sunday, I was better informed because it came to on everybody as a surprise. Nobody didn't really realize that this was going to happen. It's like even the farmers who are down there saw equipment coming on the wharf and they thought, well, okay, then this stuff we had now erupted and
Right,
this equipment was
right.
brought in to help them to ease the pain, ease the dust, and to help them
Right.
clean up. But they never
That
know.
was a major assumption by a lot of people.
Exactly. So it's after he finished speaking, I started to scrunch some numbers in my head. I didn't really even take a paper, but based on what I knew when I was in the business, I say, no. This thing is huge and somebody is going to make a lot of money and what I hear coming out of it there. Surely it wasn't Vincentian. The masses of St. Vincent and the Grenadines with the people. Nah, they weren't going to benefit. So he did this Sunday. So the Thursday and a program with Colin Graham on Nice Radio, the Thursday night, I had us call in and begin to educate the people. So I will credit this discussion how he has reached this far. I am the one who began to put information out there. I mean, even though it was just a phone call in, because I had to let people know what was really going on. And so far, nobody haven't challenged me up to know it. Because one thing they did, because Major League calling, and he is the man with numbers and so too, so he maybe did some crunching. And Julian came back at time and he read and said that it was grossly underestimated, because we was in about 300 million at the time when we now start to speak. And after he gave
That can be made from that project.
Yeah,
Was that an annual figure or like over
at
the
time,
30 years?
Over the 30 years, because we were just working with what I knew.
Right.
I used to work. You know what I mean? The kind of numbers I could have crunched if I was operating around. Because I was still looking at my size of operation still. But
Compared to this one.
Exactly.
Compared to this one.
In comparison to this one.
Right. And you were making a significant amount of
Right,
money.
so I was just there using numbers that I thought, well, you know what I mean, from me. But it's not until when I heard Julian give some numbers of 1 million tons a year coming out of that quarter.
1 million tons a year.
1 million tons.
$70 a ton. That's the going price for a ton,
A
right?
million tons.
Let me do some maths now.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get to that. You mentioned that when you got your first granite, how much did you get from it?
When I stockpile all the oversize and I crush it, when I first get my crusher come down from England,
Yeah.
brand new, I yield over $700,000 worth of material I would have really accumulated in our yard.
How much tons was that?
That would have been about 100,000 tons.
So 100,000 tons
By
gave you.
by 70, we could have 70 about yeah.
Come, Crystal, you're walking over there.
I tell
So
you.
if it is that you get 70,
And-
whatever you figure,
and
that's
hear this,
$70
and
million
hear-
dollars
how
a
much-
year.
And hear this, and
on
hear
how
this.
much piece of land?
And hear this. Remember I said
Yeah.
it wasn't on the land I took that from. It's material that I brought from Rebecca by the truckload, separated it, take out what we wanted at the time to make blocks, and then the oversize we stockpile it, because you see Yambo is a 15-acre block of land. Yambo is. So I had enough space to stockpile the oversize.
Right. So it was
And kept
whatever was left, but like jeggings.
And kept it knowing, okay boy, one of these days I will invest into a crusher. And I
Right.
did it like the ants keep accumulating, that when we start to crush, it took us months to crush it out after our crusher came, and then I sent $700,000 that was yield. But that is, I forget this part, that was with the material, like if the 1 inch and the half inch and the 3/4 that we cannot use in the black making, but already we would have used tons of the finer material for black making, like the dust from 1/4 inch to dust is what we used to use for our black making. So that was our black used to be so strong because finer the material your machine can compress, it's stronger your black became. You know what I mean?
Understood.
Yeah. So that 700 tons did not even include the tons and tons of the finer material, 1/4 inch to dust. You know what I mean? That we used to use.
So a rough estimate, you say $1 million.
$1 million and change
$1
easily.
million okay.
Change easily.
Money, boy.
Wow.
What money? So like $70 million a year, right? Multiply that by 30. That's billions of dollars.
Billions, yeah, exactly.
I ain't do the maths in my head, but I know it's more than $1 billion.
And I want Vincent to get this $1 million thing out of the head.
Mm-hmm.
That quarry set up and go the way that they said it was that Julian said, and Ralph also said it too, of 1 million tons of material out, because this Gombria here after all of a sudden in Parliament come down to 400,000. The numbers we were hearing before is 1 million tons a year. And they said between 25 and 30 years, it was talking about 50 something to $60 million that the state would have gotten. But count the amount
That's
of billions that the operator and who his associate is, that I don't know. Maybe his associate, just they will be counting in billion, while the people at Simmons who own the quarry will be counting in millions.
So let me ask you, right? Okay, so we were told like, okay, every ton that's extracted, that's produced.
That produced, yeah.
$2. Mm-hmm. You think that's fair?
Wait.
For the state.
For the state?
for St. Vincent and the Grenadines from our own $2.
Crystal and your colleagues, let me say this. And I say this, I say this because all I concern about is the development of St. Vincent and the people. That is what I see. For me, when we elect a government and we put them in office, Crystal, they are there to make sure that your child, my child, our children get a better future, a better life. And if we elect a representative for a constituency, your first duty is to your people of that constituency who elected you. Then you form a government. When you all form a government, the first duty of that government is for the development of the people in the country. And for me, this quarry ain't going to do it. Here why? Let me give you a little briefing. We must remember, the operator did not come to Simmons and bought a piece of land. Bought the parcel land. The parcel land belongs to the state. It belongs to we the people. The state own the quarry, and we are accountable to the state. We the people here are accountable to the state, not to the government, to the state. When you could get a quarry of 60 acres, because if you're about 58 point something
59
and 59, I going to have at 60 because you know how you're going to cut.
Nobody has time with 0.5.
You know how you're going to start to cut lands, and all the lands really belongs to the state, and you could cut out exact 58. When you cut and because the land is huge, you're going to cut an extra acre and a half or 2 acres. You know what I mean? When actually excavating or doing dynamite.
So in reality is...
Yes. So as long as you have a 60 acres, you might have access to. And you're paying $1,000 a month for that.
$12,000 a year for 60 acres of
which is
land.
$1,000 a month.
But it's lease agreements don't carry high prices, do they?
Watch me. You're talking lease. This is not a piece of agricultural land. Now it's not a piece of land that is okay there for just agriculture alone. Yes, the agriculture was done on it. But you must remember that is a piece of land that has, and I will borrow a word from my brother, Dr. Wendell Samuel, who is a director at IMF. This is not an ordinary paper pusher at IMF. He's a director. So he's right up there. If maybe one of these days, because you could hear he become the head of the, IMF one of these days. Things like what we're talking about, a quarry with granite, is a stock of wealth. This is the first thing I want to get into the heads of my people, of my brother, my sister. It's not a stone quarry we have down there. It's a stock of wealth. So
it should have been more. It should have been a lot more than $12,000.
So what you could do with a stock of wealth that you have in the bank, Christelle, you could extract, you could draw out. That is what it does down there. You go there and you extract, You draw out and you add value, and you basically you printing money.
Okay.
So
So Richmond is a bank
so exactly it's a bank. It's a bank
with unlimited access to
with unlimited access to
unlimited
money.
money.
And this is what I want to get in. People, please out there who listening. This is not just a stone quarry, and that is a big mistake that made. They're treating it as a piece of agricultural land where you have to go and get hoe and dig up, and the man is not going to do agriculture there. He is going to operate a quarry, a money-making venture. He's on. So that's the first mistake. So $1,000 a month, no. And you go now again, and you go on further and make an agreement for $2 a ton. Why didn't it be 2% of his sale? 2% of his sale would have even made more sense.
Quick question right there. Right now. If you were granted that license, what would you have offered the state in return? From your view, what?
Based on what I like that question. Based on what I used to do at Rabaka, when we bought Rabaka land, our 15 acres of land at Rabaka, we met crush aggregate going at Rabaka at $60 a ton, $60 a cubic yard, $60 a ton, and you want to put it basically they're almost the same. One is just you go by weight, one is just you go by volume. Cubic yard is volume, ton is weight. Now, you know what I did? Listen, I realized this is a serious windfall for our business. Immediately, I reduce the crush aggregate from $60 to $40 cubic yard. To everybody, the whole entire country, whosoever choose to buy from us. That is the first thing we did. We reduced the...
And you want exporting?
We used to export couple times, but we didn't have a full exporting contract with anybody. Okay. No one then somebody call and say they want a boatload. So, you know what I mean?
How much you would sell to persons if you were to export?
When I was exporting now, they pay.
They pay the full price.
They pay the full price.
Okay.
You buzz.
They pay the full price. The savings was for our people. They are the ones who should benefit. We are here. And that's the reason I'm not taking this quarry thing.
So that's one part that you would have done.
Right.
You would have made sure that the locals get it at a cheaper price.
Exactly.
And exporting it, they pay the full price.
They pay the full price.
That is one aspect.
They pay whatever the market.
What the market requires.
Out there selling up. Because remember, and this is something again, Christian, and I'm glad it could jump in my head now. We must not treat aggregate as just local. There's a market, there's a set price for aggregate out there and the market out there.
Right.
It fluctuates, or it's at one.
Right now, it can fluctuate, but right now, quarry material is very scarce, hard to find. So
there's a demand.
So there's a demand and the price is up.
So is it a situation where you could put it at a price and no matter what, they would buy it because it's in demand?
Well, there, as I said before, there's a price set out there. It's like cement. We know cement go at particular price per ton. Yeah. Whether you buy it in what do you call it, Colombia, or you bought it in Santo Domingo, or you buy it in Trinidad, cement sell at a particular price per ton, just with aggregate. So your price out there, so you may be able to even in oil. You know, oil can have a set price. People understand aggregate. Aggregate is a commodity. You have to be treated and looking at the way you look at oil and all them type of things. It's a commodity that you can't do without.
Right.
You need it in construction. So cement and aggregate. Hence the reason why you had one of our company named Cement and Aggregate. No? In bigger group of company, we had a company named Cement and Aggregate. That's to tell you how significant we saw the importance of aggregate.
Yeah.
And
no.
So for me, to take up our resource like this and give it away, it's a sin. It's a sin to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and it's hurt. It's really, really hurt not because you might think of that we don't know. The majority of Vincent, I should say, don't know or understand aggregate. But my job from since that day I heard about it is to educate my people, our people, because if I'm the one my creator put out there to gain the knowledge of aggregate, and the time is now for me to reveal, I am willing to reveal it to the people, and I am going to continue to educate us, to let us know that we have a resource that in the terms of stones, tons and tons of stones, stock of wealth throughout St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and we should not let nobody exploit it for the benefit of just a few, and the masses of my people continue to live in extreme poverty. No, I'm not gonna allow it.
Okay.
Please,
there's a lot of concerns for the farmers down on that end. You mentioned that you would have sold the aggregate at a cheaper price for the locals, and when you're exporting it, you would have sell it for the accurate price. In terms of the farmers now who are being affected, how would have you dealt with that situation if you were the one in charge of the quarry?
First, to beginning, that we should have had a proper assessment done, environmental assessment done by the professionals. The farmers, and let me say this, persons around me, some persons around me don't like me to say it because they say that the way I just think, maybe I just give her too much information. But if it was me, I would have found somewhere to relocate the farmers after we have an environmental assessment done and we studied it. And if it's necessary that there's the only place, because we have a lot of places in St. we could set up quarries.
I would love to ask you. You said if it was me, and Crash asked if it was you. If it was you, the business owner, or you, the government?
Me, the government.
Because I don't see you, the business owner, being responsible for relocating the farmers. That should have been the government's responsibility.
Right. But I'm trying to wear two hats at one time. The business owner, because I am the business owner, we have to make sure that the farmers around me
are happy, because they could damage your equipment when they're there.
You see what I mean?
So you also have to look out for their interests as well.
But if the business owner has permission to use the land by the government, can other people be allowed on that parcel of land if they have the right to be there?
No. Yes, because for me and Dennis Charles, I want to really big up that guy. He brought, and now the issue of environmental impact. Dennis Charles, what he said resonate with me. The reason why, because he is not a politician, and for me, that speech he made that Friday night down at North Leeward, trust me, that should be documented. Should should a court matter, anything should come out, that particular speech should be transcribed and into writing. Now,
what did he mention?
Before we go forward, right? We could only spend like a few couple seconds. So you have to wrap up this. We have to wrap up this segment in a few seconds.
Okay.
Because we gotta go to a sponsor segment.
Okay. Well, I prefer to withhold what I was going to say, but I could say this to show what is happening to the people of North Leeward and what is happening to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines with a resource, with a windfall. Because for me, this is a windfall. It's terrible. And when I come back, I want to expand on it.
Of course.
And of what Crash was saying there, you know what I mean? So
that and some more ills that you see from the project. And I want to ask you if it should be halted, if it's a project that should not continue, or if should it been given to a local contractor. All right, but when we come back right here on the Wake Up Call, we got Bigger Bigs on the inside. We got to go to the digital state of emergency mix. If you have questions or comments, you can hit us up at 430-1043.